So Mike, I noticed you hold your rod tip up like that. Why is that? To me, I look at that and I'm like, well, if you get a bite, you're not gonna have any room to set the hook. It looks tough and all, I know that. I mean, it does. You see the tournament anglers do that, but what's the logic behind it?
Well, a couple things. When I make a long cast, so you make this long cast, well, I do this to keep the line up so that I can watch that line, and as it's falling, I got a little bit of a bend in it, and I'll know when it gets to the bottom. And you're right, you kind of got to reel down on them when they bite. You're not going to be able to react immediately, but at the same time, it is a soft plastic bait. They should hold on to it for that second anyways. Most people will tell you wait a count of 1 or 2 or whatever anyways. I'm not a big fan of that. I'll whack them as soon as I feel them. But I get more feel this way. The other thing that I do from a tip perspective is that you'll notice I'm up here, you're down here grabbing that rod. Well, you got all this cork and you don't have the sensitivity.
Yeah.
So I'll get up here and I get most of my hand right on top of that rod. And this is kind of like a little bit of a counterbalance. It takes a little bit to get used to, but you just, hang on to it. What you don't want to do, this is how I used to fish. Used to point that rod up, or the finger up the blank. Smalley, smalley, smalley.
Cross his eyes.
That's it, it was a good hook set. I want to make sure that bait gets to the bottom. That's the first thing. So this is the only way that I can really keep a good eye on that line, and you'll see that line's got a dip. You'll see it dip and it's sinking, and I just got caught in a little bit of debris. Still sinking, still sinking. And then once it gets to the bottom, then because I went to a little bit lighter head here. Once it's on the bottom, then you can, pop it along or drag it. But there's other times when I'm working this tube, they just want to drag, and you're going to drag. You'll see, drag to the side, and you'll feel it crawling along the rocks. And then you're doing a lot more feel. But there's other times as you're watching this bait fall, you're just watching that line, and where it goes into the water, you'll see. Now it just went slack, so that means it's on the bottom.
And how long should you leave it on the bottom?
Mike, there's been times I've left it 30, 40 seconds just
Really?
sitting in a spot, and they'll come over. I mean, you would think there's no way there's a fish around, and they'll come right up to it and just boink.
Mike knows things.
Yeah, Mike knows.
He knows things that I don't know.
Mike knows.
See,
Beautiful.
this is the difference here between someone who can fish really well, someone who is an enthusiast like me. Those subtle things. It's those subtle things when they're not biting, right? I mean, how many times has a fish picked up my bait and I didn't even know it and he spit it out? Ooh, he's an acrobat. That's a nice fish.
That's a good one. Come here. That's a nice fish.
Beautiful.
See, again, there's no spawn marks on this fish. There's not a single mark on that fish. Tells you that it was spawning.
How do you tell with a smallmouth, male or female?
Yeah, I can't tell either way, other than by just size. Just by size. I mean, if you got one that's full of eggs and stuff, you can tell that it's a female. But really, I think the only way to tell sex is to cut them open.